This composition, Natanagara, is a very beautiful composition composed by the legendary Pandit Ravi Shankar, set to Raga Kiravani. Kiravani is one of these very classical, beautiful ragas which migrated from South Indian classical music to the Hindustani system and now very well developed in both systems. So I thought that would be a very ideal raga to choose for this group. And we also had some kids who were very well trained in Western classical music. So the Rag Kiravani also happens to be the the C harmonic minor. So Rag Kiravani happens to be the C harmonic minor. So we did something very interesting. We took a Western composition and transposed that to the scale in which they were going to record in. And so that's where the piece is now. So I hope you all like it.
And how was it like working and bringing these different genres and styles together? Like, what did the kids learn or not enjoy about working with each other?
I thought the biggest learning process was majorly between the Hindustani and Carnatic and Western classical. So generally these kids happen to be really good and very talented when they individually perform, but when it comes to a group there is a lot of coordination, acceptance of others and thinking which has to go through. So in that sense they really had to work together to make sure this piece sounds together as like one classical, nice sounding composition.
Okay. And what do you remember any funny stories from the incident, from the shoot or from the audio recording or the Google Hangouts?
Oh yeah. So one of the funniest incident was so there is this concept of Korvai or the grand finale which comes in Carnatic music, which is very typical of Carnatic. There is something called Tihai which is an equivalent in Hindustani. So the Carnatic Hindustani kids were trained in that up to some extent, but for the Western classical kids it was totally a new concept. So it was very funny for them to pick it up initially, but then in the end they realized, oh yeah, actually it sounds really cool. So okay, so the composition for the second group, the idea for the composition evolved as follows. So we started off from with Hindolam and Sunada Vinodini, these two ragams. The reason was because the Gamadhanis of Hindolam are exactly opposite from the Gamadhanis of Sunada Vinodini. So we thought this would be a very good experiment to do. And as we were thinking about the composition and also with all the inputs from the participants, we decided we should have some very nice, interesting transition from Hindolam to Sunada Vinodini. And for that, we picked these ragams where by changing Ga of Hindolam, we came up with Surya. By changing the Ma of Hindolam, we didn't know what the ragam was, so we named it Pratimadhyama Hindolam. By changing Da of Hindolam, we came up with Varamu. And by changing Ni, we had Chandrakaunts. So we have done this very beautiful, interesting amalgamation of these ragas, which lead to Sunada Vinodini.
And how should one appreciate this piece? What should they look out for?
Okay, there are very interesting elements into this composition. There are like melodic parts where there is just the improvisation of the rags in those particular, which bring out the actual melodic aspects of those ragams. But there are also certain parts which are very calculation intensive, and that was very interesting for the drummers and also like the knowledgeable audience. So it is a very nice balance between the melody and the rhythm. So we also had something very interesting as we started the composition. We thought we should do a mixture of Konakol along with the Mridagam Tani. So generally it is not very common in the concert platform, so we thought we'll try out something different. So I hope I hope you all enjoy that. And the idea of the composition was to have like a very groovy line which was in Hindolam, and then we decided to have the same line retuned in all these ragams which come one after another. And in the end we basically changed the tune of the Hindolam line with the same rhythmical pattern but to the Sunada Vinodini part, which brings out a little more melody of Sunada Vinodini than the Hindolam. So it's a very interesting thing because you can really observe just that change of one note can make a whole lot of difference in these melodic compositions. re sa na re na ga ga. Sa ni da ba ma ga re sa na re na ga ga. Sa ni da ba ma ga re sa na re na ga ga.
ಅತಿ ಸುಂದರ
Right.
ವಚನ ವಿಶಾಲ ನಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಲ
So that fast swarams, Gautam, you are playing, right? Niza, taniza, padaniza, mabadaniza, nadana. You play that also, otherwise it suddenly sounds empty there.
Okay, so then I play that and then I go straight.
Yeah, then straight. Can you play your swaram once? Nadana. Taniza, mabadaniza. No. Huh.
So you can get like good ice for like running. I agree. I never liked running either.
Your knee has to be good. Your knee. 1, 2, 3. No, you have to take it. Sorry, once more. 1, 2, 3.
Well, this is my third Indian Raga lab, and this is the first one we're doing with all instruments, no vocalists at all. And well, when you're doing with vocalists, there's a few sangatis and some variations that they won't be able to sing, but only instruments can bring that out. So it was like really interesting to be accompanying for that, especially using konakol and the tani, which is not usually done by like regular kacheris. So it was a nice fusion, and I had a fun time doing it. Well, recording took a lot. We recorded many times, but like, I mean, we messed up at this one part. I think it was during the transitions to different ragas, since this is a raga malika, and we had to keep on working on that, and it ended up we just had to like correct one note. So that was pretty funny. And yeah. So what audiences while watching this video, what they should like look out for are the sangatis, and one it's not a sangati, but one portion of the video is where the veena does a tanam, and like veena is known for its tanams, and singers can also do it, but not to the extent the veena does it. So that's a really interesting piece. And usually most people don't accompany for tanam, like only some various artists do it. But it was really nice to accompany for tanam because it's the first time I've ever done it, so I had a fun time.
Well, at Indian Raga Labs, we did like sort of a Raga Malika piece, and like it was like a lot of work, but we got through it, and
What is the piece about?
it's like a Raga Malika, and when they say it's like
Which ragams were in it?
some of the ragams kind of don't even exist, but there was Varamu, Pratimadamihilam, Hindolam,
Hindu.
Chandrakons, Surya, Hindolam, and Sunada Vinodani. And this has been my first Indian Raga lab, and this has been a really great experience for me. And well, so it was when we were playing, performing outside. We were really like it was really itchy up there, but and it was rainy and all that stuff happened. Well, we managed through it, and we just took that first shot. Harshad's our great coach. He's taught me all this great stuff.
They were like very nice in this piece. We enjoyed a lot while we are practicing in Hangouts, and even while we are recording, and even with the shooting. In this piece, we worked specially on Tanam on Veena because it is very great to play Tanam on Veena, and especially we have taken it the ragam Varamu because it will sounds great playing Tanam in Varamu. And here we have done an experiment with Mridangam along with the Tanam, and the Laya and Shruti were perfect and it came out very well. So they just want to try it to play my Veena, and they tried it well. And everyone want to try each one of others' instruments. And I played Mridangam and Rishabh played Veena, and we all learned much like what part goes with which instrument.
This is my second Indian raga, and the reason it's different from the previous one I've done is because it's full instruments, no vocal, absolutely none, and it's like you can show all the vocals, all the instrumentals, there's no lyrics, it's just full swaram and full improvisation. And Harsha, it was just, there's no words, because he built it from scratch, and then he trained all of us to then play it like this, not at like a bad level. He made us play at a really like amazing level. Sarvag, okay, so you're playing the main line, and it's supposed to end in sa, but for some reason he specifically goes and ends it in re. Probably one of the only notes that are not in the ragam. And so, yeah, Harsha and the rest of us just burst out. I think Bhavya is Kannada, because while the rest of the group is like bubbly, exciting, uncalm, she's almost the exact opposite, being calm and just taking it smoothly, like Kannada, going with the flow, being mature, at least more mature than us. She fits the ragam like this. It just fits. There's nothing to stop it.
Yeah, I think Sarva is a Nalina Kanti because he's very hyper, joyful, playful, and well, he's really hyper. And if I were to show this on my mridangam, what people play to sound happy is called Sarvalagu, so it would sound like this. So that's more of a happy, but then like when we need to get work done, he's also pretty serious. So I mean, you can like play something like this. And it's like pretty much just routine. It's like TikTok. So he can also be very serious.
I think Arjun should be Shankarabharanam because he's happy, he's calm, and he likes to play with people like this. Swara ga Arjun. It just fits.
Yeah. I think RB for Rishabh, he'll be like Raga Sudha Rasam Dilanu. For looking, he's so soft, but when he starts on playing the violin, he's the brightest one in the group to play.